Welcome to 10,000 Satoshis. I am your host, joeFi. This is a podcast about Bitcoiners in Minnesota by Bitcoiners in Minnesota. And too often at our meetups, it just becomes, too hard to talk to everybody. You just get to have quick conversations, little snippets here and there, and you never get to dive deep and figure out what's going on a little bit under the surface. So that's why for today's episode, I brought on Edgar. Edgar started the Real Bedford and is probably the number one super fan in the world of the Real Bedford Football Club. And I just wanted to talk about the crossover between sports, Bitcoin soccer, Bitcoin football, and Bitcoin, and actually starting and running a meetup in the Twin Cities. So this is one of the 10,000 stories of Satoshis in Minnesota. And, we highlight the builders, the thinkers, the organizers, everybody doing everything to build a Bitcoin community right here in Minnesota. So without any further ado, Edgar, who are you?
My name is Edgar, and I am Satoshi.
Look at the camera.
My name is Edgar, and I am Satoshi.
Right on. Right. So before we get too deep into it, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Are you from Minnesota? How'd you end up here? What brings you to Minnesota? And what's one thing you like about living here?
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a really good question. So I can start way back. I actually grew up in Connecticut. My dad was from Portugal. My mom was from Brazil. And I was the first one in my family born in the U.S. Grew up in Connecticut, dodging bullets up in the hood. And eventually, after college, I moved to Los Angeles. Lived in Los Angeles for almost a decade. Met my wife there, who originally is from South Dakota. Never thought I'd meet a girl from South Dakota, but I sure did. And then we decided we wanted to have a family, so we left Los Angeles. We went to Northern California, wine country in Sonoma, which is definitely dreamy area. And
I love it up there.
Oh, it is. I mean, the wine, I can go all day about wine, all day. And after my daughter was born, she was about a year old, we decided to move back to Connecticut to be closer to my side of the family. And we spent about 3 years there. Then I had a job opportunity in Minneapolis area. And again, her parents aren't too far away. It's a nice 3.5 hour ride. You're far enough away, but close enough for long weekends.
Grandparents can still come drop the gifts off whenever they want. Right?
Exactly, yeah. So we've been here for about 6 years, and it was about a year ago we decided to finally settle down, buy a house, and really get integrated with the community. So we really like it. What I love about Minnesota over, say, the likes of Connecticut, Minneapolis, Twin Cities area, there's a little over 3 million people, which is the entire population of the state of Connecticut. And so the infrastructure here is pretty amazing. Lots of trails, pretty easy access to parks and very family friendly. We really like it.
Awesome. So getting right into it, what inspired you to start the Real Bedford meetup right here?
Yeah. So like I said, my dad was from Portugal, my mom from Brazil. So growing up, I wanted to play baseball, and they're like, no, you can play soccer only. So as a 7-year-old, I think my older brother started when he was about 5, so I was late to the game and when I was 7, and fell in love with the sport and played for most of my life on and off. So played all through high school, did not play for a college team. I wasn't that good. But even after college, decided to play in adult leagues through, whether it was Los Angeles or whether it was in Sonoma or even in Connecticut, back in Connecticut. So I last played, I think my daughter, she's 9 now. She's probably about 3 when I stopped playing.
And that's had to hang the cleats up.
Yeah, I was probably 30.
I think I saw that on ESPN.
Yeah. So I actually was on ESPN. That's another story. 30. Yeah, I was about 37, 38 when I stopped, and at that point, I realized the ball was moving a bit too fast for my liking, and so I am class of 21 when it comes to Bitcoin. So I know some of you are way earlier, and I still feel I'm actually early. So believe it or not,
Everybody's even the person that hasn't bought yet still early.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. We're all early, just like we're all Satoshi. But in 21, I started watching the What Bitcoin Did podcast. At the time, Peter McCormick, now Danny Knowles, running it. And Peter kept talking about buying a football clubs, and I'm going to refer to it as soccer out here. And the acquisition went through late 21, I believe, or early 22. Website went up, they got rebranded, and in January 2022 is when we started our supporters club. So for me, it was a no-brainer. Marrying Bitcoin and soccer. We can probably get into it later, but I would think there'd be more people watching games or supporting supporters clubs or Bitcoin meetups, but fortunately there's not. We'll touch on that though.
So what were the early challenges of getting it off the ground? As we record here in Dunn Brothers, right? Venues are always an interesting, thing to conquer or figure out for or for meetups. So what were the early challenges?
Well, let me give you a bit of perspective. I think this really helps ground things. So Real Bedford, when they started, or formerly known as Bedford FC, they were in the 10th division of the English football pyramid. There are 11 divisions in total.
We might have to get the whiteboard going.
So you would imagine, if you're going to do an analogy to baseball, right? You have the major leagues, which would be considered the Premier League in English football. And then you have the AAA, AA minor league systems, right? Other than single A. And then you get into fall leagues and Cape Cod leagues and independent leagues. Yeah, right? And so to give you a little bit of color, let's just say that when the club first started, the teams that I played on in my 30s could have beaten the team that was on the field that first year, and arguably even that second year, definitely not the 3 years after that. So it's not like these games were easily accessible. I think Peter did a really nice job streaming the games, and they were streaming all games at the time, home games, away games. But even in that first half season, because the acquisition took place in the middle of the year, there was no streaming. So there was no ability to follow them live. And it wasn't until the official, fully rebranded team kicked off this time of year, 3 years ago. And I actually had a supporter club president from Columbus, Ohio, reach out to me. He was going to be in town in Minneapolis and said, "Hey, let's meet up somewhere and watch the game." Sure enough, we did what any Minneapolis soccer fan does, contacts Brits Pub, and we go there and we show up with our iPad and we asked them if we can stream the game somehow up in the big screen, and they told me to go pound sand, and so we watched it from our little iPad. And
it sounds like every experience I've ever had at Brits Pub.
Yeah. Well, we had one other lunatic though. I won't dox him, but he was also just as passionate as I was about watching games, and so him and I would go back and forth on Telegram. Oh, did you see that? Or are you watching that? And all that fun stuff. And so, after several months of doing that, it's like, we should get together and watch the game. And Ladanya, Silvesteria, they've been really generous. So
how'd you find them?
So I was actually there during a happy hour for a work event.
Okay.
And someone mentioned off the cuff that they stream soccer games there. And so they handed me a card of the owner. And so
Sergio?
Sergio.
Shout out Sergio.
Shout out Sergio Ladagna. And I emailed Sergio thinking he was just going to tell me to go pound sand just like Bridge Pub did. But he said, no, let's give it a shot. Let's try this. Let's see if we can get the game streamed up on the system. So
Awesome.
yeah, come to find out, they actually stream Everton Premier League matches. And Everton supporters, you know, they also keep tabs on Real Bedford now, at least the ones here in Minneapolis, which is pretty neat.
They're a nice bunch of people. I just every time I come to one of your meetups, I always want to outdraw them.
Yes,
but they do draw a pretty big crowd. So
yeah, they do. So yeah, they get about, on a good day they get about 30, and we get about half that. But there have been quite a few games where we've matched them pretty closely, and you got to think about the level that we're talking here. I mean, we're the logistical setup, the camera, the view from the pitch, the crowds. I mean, Real Bedford averages in around 300 people in attendance, like live in person, right? And we're talking full on packed out stadiums in Liverpool. Where
your meetup draws 1/6 the crowd that's there in real life.
Yeah, so the Minneapolis Supporters Club is the largest supporters club, Real Bedford supporter club in the world. So
that leads me to a question that I was going to ask you: is how do you attract people? How do you?
Yeah.
Is it only just siphoning off from the Bitcoin community, or did you find other soccer fans that were interested in a minor league team, or how do you find the people that? Because I've been to them, obviously, you know, no surprise there, but there isn't, it's not 100% crossover. So
correct. Yeah. And I think this is exactly what Peter was after. So being able to orange pill soccer fans, and then bring soccer lovers together with Bitcoin. So initially it was with a local Bitcoiner who decided to entice half of his family to come over and drink beer at 9 a.m., right? You know, first round's on me sort of thing.
What's wrong with a little 9 a.m. drinking, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's really what kicked things off was it was him and I plus half of his family, right? We're talking not only spouse, but brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and then the extended family kept going and going. And they've showed up every week. And then even at work, begging a few folks who, one, either like to consume a beer or two at 9 a.m. or just enjoy watching soccer. And so at our meetups, we get about half of the crowd have no clue about Bitcoin, or at least maybe at this point have a clue, just choose to be ignorant about it, which is fine. That's on them. And so early on, it was really just, you know, friends and family. And then, you know, as social media started expanding into things like Nostr, you get the random Nostr person. It's like, oh, who are you? And it's like, oh, I'm a Nostr. How'd you get on Nostr? You know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we haven't put up flyers. It's just through word of mouth, and it's siphoning from the local Bitcoin community.
Awesome. So okay, I guess you kind of covered. You already covered my next question. You're cheating, going right ahead. So what challenges do you have with I mean, obviously we know the schedule is published, right? But not every game is streamed, right?
Right.
And then what challenges do you have, like trying to get a routine and then, you know, book the Ladonna place and things like that?
Yeah.
What has been hard so far about, you know, getting a rhythm, or, you know, the meetups? Because everyone always says, you know, consistency is the best thing to do for meetups, but
it is.
It's next to impossible if you don't have a weekend game and this and that. Because I mean, if we're drinking at 9 a.m. on a Wednesday,
yeah, that's a problem.
we might have problems, right?
Yeah.
So what has the challenges with that been, and obviously the time difference too?
Yeah, so there's been a few. You know, I think first off, Real Bedford, the first season when they were in the 10th level, they were streaming every game. And that was a bit easier to at least to try to schedule meetups. But once they got promoted up to level 9, they decided to only stream home games. I mean, it was very logistically challenging for them to set up shop in a way structure and even get, we'll call it TV rights or permission to do so. And some teams didn't want to be recorded. Wow. So, yeah. So then at that point, it was home games only. So now your schedule is limited to, pick almost 40 games a year, half that home games, and then some of those are on Tuesdays. So that doesn't quite work out. Tuesdays at about 1:30. It's really challenging to get people.
Are there games always on the same days?
Or they're mostly on Saturday mornings and Tuesday afternoons, our time. I think now with the new season or the division they're in, I believe it's on Wednesdays.
Okay.
But yeah.
And now they're in 8th?
Yeah, so they went from 7.
Sorry, we're jumping around.
No, you're good. Yeah, they went from they started in the 10th league. So the first half year when it was acquired, they were in the 10th level. And then the first full year after that, they were in the 10th. They got promoted to the 9th. They got promoted to the 8th, and now they're in the 7th.
Oh, they're in the 7th.
They're in the 7th now, yeah.
Okay, lucky number 7.
Yeah, they're moving on up. It's definitely a step change.
Sorry, so back to the,
logistical challenges. So scheduling was one. In terms of you're limited to home games, so that's your population of how many you can have per year. And then from there, the winter time is also very challenging. These guys are playing outdoors. There's no covering. Depending how the pitch is set up, you can have frost or a lot of rain. And so some of those games can get rained out. And that's happened to us too. Like we've showed up at Ladanya and the game's been canceled. And so we just hang out.
What did one time we played, what was the game? Did you bring that, the mining game?
Yeah, we've had some board games there. That was Collin.
Colin, that's right, yeah. Oh, Collin, my co-host, who bailed on me for the second time in a row.
Way to go, Collin.
Way to go, Collin.
The other is, I'd say, personal schedule. So my daughter is a competitive swimmer. And when a meetup is reliant upon your laptop streaming up to a Chromecast at a bar, it's you have to work around swim meets. And so, I prioritize swim meets over anything else, at least time with family.
What a poor father.
I know.
I mean, you prioritize swim meets over drinking with your buddies at 9 a.m.
Yeah. However, if the swim meets are in the afternoons, we can work something out, and that's happened. We've done that. And so, yeah, with the personal schedule and the weather in the winter, I'd say between December and February, it can be pretty challenging to get something going. But even last year, though, just anticipating bad weather, I decided to throw a holiday party at my house and had people over my house and just awesome potluck and some beverages. And we even had some Ladanya beer there as well. So that was a good time.
Isn't there something opening next to Ladanya? Is it Danya? But whatever. Isn't there something new opening next to it, or did I imagine that?
Right. So that's been a rotating business. So where they're located, there is where it was a distillery. I'm not sure exactly what it is right now. But there's been a lot of construction there, a lot of apartments going up, and road construction. So that's been fun.
So do you encourage newcomers to come to your meetup?
Always. It's really interesting. So, I'm an engineer by education and I guess by trade. And, when I look at the numbers, you go to Telegram group as an example, we have over 350 members on Telegram in Minneapolis group chat. When you go to the meetups,
and only 349 of them are scammers. So.
There you go. joeFi being one of them. And when you go to the monthly meetups, you get about, say, 50-ish.
Yeah, we've been doing better lately.
Yeah. You get about 50. And it may depend on the speaker, may depend on other factors, weather in the winter. And so in our Telegram group chat for Real Bedford, we have close to 50, and we get about 15 or so on average. So the the math is about right in terms of where we're at.
Lurkers versus people that want to come out.
But there's newcomers all the time at the big meetups, and so I'll try to siphon them.
Which really is part of the reason I'm doing this, right?
Yeah.
It's you know, I see the meetups get so busy, especially the big one, right?
Yeah.
And you see new people come in, and you want to talk to everybody, but you don't get a chance to talk to everybody. So I thought this would be a good way to highlight the other things that are going on. It's there, because in the Bitcoin world, there is a lot going on here in the Twin Cities.
There is.
And we're the Rodney Dangerfield of Bitcoin cities. We get no respect. Yeah, I'll throw the clip in of him saying that. I get no respect.
Well, that's the story of my life. No respect. I got no respect.
But, Nashville's great. Austin's great. But,
I know. I try to get Danny out here all the time. I troll Danny. He knows that it's like when Minneapolis. He's like, I got to get out there sometime, when Minneapolis. But,
just bring him here in January. That's all. If you're bringing anyone in, we have to bring him in January just to initiate them.
And Peter's sister is like, she can't wait to come to Minneapolis. She's like, I got to get out there and hang out with you guys on a Saturday morning, have a beer, watch the game.
Oh, that would be awesome. I've met her too.
Yeah. Lorraine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. She's pretty great. I will say though, it's a bit frustrating. Like, it's not easy to kick this off, right? We started off with one, and then their entire family, and that happened for a while. But you would think on a Saturday, granted it's in the mornings in a very family-friendly environment, people would come out and just support the initiative. So I don't know how many people care about soccer, right? But again,
that's a headwind.
Yeah. So that is a headwind. Here in Minneapolis, we do have Minnesota United, the Loons, and it's a good time. If you haven't been to a game, it's a really good time. But of the cohort that we have here in Minneapolis, I've heard from several people I show up to our meetups, like, this is some of the best signal that you get. Because, honestly, half the group maybe is watching the game. The other half, like, we're going deep into mining. Like you said, having those intimate conversations that it's hard to have in the larger setting, and you're doing it there. Just a few weeks back, we're getting into the weeds of setting up home mining rigs to heating the home and exactly how you run the electrical and what kind of amperage you have in your system and all that good stuff.
If you are going down that route, and not to get too sidetracked here, but I've got another guy from Green Bay that you should talk to.
Okay.
He's amazing, and he has heated his whole house for a couple of years now, and now he's actually sent me a video. He's got his hot water heater on it too.
Very nice.
He's doing it. And for immersion, and then it's heat transferred to the hot water, and
that's standard mechanical engineering stuff. It's like that's what I did my senior project on, heat exchangers.
But for retards like me, that it's absolutely awesome. And in my real life, I do a lot in real estate, and most people probably know that, but like I was in a boiler room of an apartment building. I'm like, why is this not
being monetized?
Well, every month they probably pay $3,000-$4,000, during the winter to heat this big building. Why is this not offset by running miners?
Yeah.
Even if it's just to preheat the water, that's anyways.
We're early.
Yeah, we are so early.
Yeah.
And, joeFi prediction here. I think mining will become more, everyone's always worried about mining being centralized with the massive data centers like, what's the one down in Texas, whatever.
Yeah.
Not Compass. Marathon and Riot and.
Right, yeah.
But as people see that they can offset, even if it's only 20% of the heating bill for this big building, 20%, whatever it is, it's going to be decentralized like that, because the waste product of Bitcoin is heat, and especially in Minnesota and anywhere north or anywhere needs heat. So
you've made it when when your wife tells you, hey, it's getting colder here, when you're going to turn on that miter.
Sarah said that to me too.
It's like, oh, you don't have to ask twice. I'm happy to plug it in. So converted an S9 into a space heater, and it's been working out pretty well.
So back on topic.
Back
here.
to soccer, back to soccer.
I guess I should have a mining podcast. We should do that.
Could be.
Home mining. I'll have to get
Andre and family.
Yeah, well, I'll have to get my buddy
others.
from Green Bay to come over. He's I'll send you what he does. You probably even know who he is, but yeah, I mean, he's got it right into the ductworks, and
That's sweet.
Yeah, and yeah, he's total engineer. Like, I mean, everything's so clean, and it looks like an autist did it.
Yeah. Shout out to the Home Mining Wizards Telegram group. I mean, there's probably several hundred posts a day. I had to eventually just leave to remove it. It's too many notifications. But
really?
they have a lot of those clean setups. Home is pretty sweet.
I always look at those, or way back when I was GPU mining, I'd always look at I'd look at the picture.
Yeah.
And it'd be like perfect lines, and this and that. And then I'd look at mine, it'd be like just a rat's nest.
Wires everywhere.
It'd be like, it's making 3 shitcoins a day though. Who cares?
There you go. Got my Doge.
So back to Bedford though.
Yeah.
So how would you say? I mean, obviously Peter McCormick's a big personality in Bitcoin. Especially for people that were earlier than now. I mean, if you're just getting started now, you probably, I don't know how his new podcast does, or if he's even still doing it.
He's doing it.
Okay.
It's more politic focused.
I kind of tuned out when they started getting into the politics and,
Or UK politics. It's a bit
which is even worse, right? I mean, our politics are bad enough, right?
Yeah.
And I try to tune that out, and I'm like, I don't have the bandwidth for foreign politics. So, but how would you say his brand, and then how has that helped Real Bedford, I guess, on a bigger level, and then how has it helped the local meetup level and things like that?
Yeah, this is where I get really excited. So he's effectively, for lack of better terms, almost franchised the name in a sense, or branded the name in such a way that he can open up other businesses under that same branding. So he opened up Real Coffee recently, but his focus is to improve the community of Bedford. I've been to Bedford 3 times already myself. Absolutely love the town. I can't describe how therapeutic it's been every year going to Bedford. And so what he's done in the community is pretty impeccable. It's a grassroots effort. It's, yes, you can do this. He's had his cheat code conferences bring in, thousands of people from all over the world into the community, spending dollars, onboarding businesses to accept Bitcoin, and then continue to open up additional businesses there. And so, instead of saying, town's going to shit, it's like, okay, town's going to shit, part of my language here. But, he's
I'm
doing
clutching my pearls because I've never heard anything so awful. But
yeah, I know. But he's doing something about it, and I think that's really important, right? It's like, if you see something that's broken, it's like, well, stop complaining about it. Go do something. And he's doing it, which is, it's not easy to do. I mean, it's not easy enough to get a meetup going. Never mind trying to improve your entire community and get
never mind in the Orwellian state of the United Kingdom these days too.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
God forbid you tweet something that's foul.
I can't even imagine. And shout out to Peter. I mean, that takes enormous guts.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Because he is stepping into the fray, whether he's going to run for something or not.
Yeah.
Even just standing up and saying, let's, this isn't right.
Yeah.
When you stick out, when you're the nail that sticks out, you're the one that gets hammered down. So, I mean, definitely, I give him credit for standing up and saying, let's do something about this.
Yeah, and I will say that the concept or even the logic of him, being able to say, this is a community effort. We don't have to depend on anyone. It's carried over to me even within my neighborhood. It's like if I see something that technically isn't mine per se or isn't right, I'll call it out or I'll just go fix it. I live in a cul-de-sac. It's a small group of homes, but sometimes they're just these first world problems. Acorns falling off all these trees, and every time you drive into the cul-de-sac, you're just crunching on these acorns. Like, you know what? I'm just going to be the guy who just every day gets out there and just cleans it up, keeps the neighbors happy, and that takes care of business. Or if you see, walking the dogs and, there's branches kind of in the middle of the pathway or something, just go clean it up, go trim some things, take care of your community first.
So you touched on Bedford, the place itself.
Yeah.
And you said you've been there 3 times. So break it down for people that have no idea. Let's start on the global level, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure some people listening probably have no idea where Bedford even is. So let's start on continent, country, and then go down from there. So where is Bedford?
Bedford's in the UK.
Nope. Start bigger.
Oh.
Where it's in Europe.
Yeah, there you go. It's in Europe.
Okay.
It's a good start. There's an island.
Okay, now it's in the UK.
Bunch of countries called Great Britain.
No, so
United Kingdom.
Seriously,
Yeah.
where? So Bedford is a suburb of London, right? Or how would you?
You can argue it's a suburb of London. I wouldn't call it well. You know what? It may depend on scale. So when I lived in Los Angeles, there was a town I lived in, or Los Angeles County went as high as about 45 minutes north of downtown. Bedford is 45 minutes north of London by train. So it is the last stop on their main metro.
I'll call it, and I'll say that's a suburb because it's at least in the metropolitan. Because what airport did you fly into to get to Bedford?
From here, you go direct to Heathrow. Yeah.
So it's part of the bigger London. Okay.
It is. But you could fly into Luton. That'll get you a lot closer.
All right.
But from Heathrow, you go into London, and London, you go to Bedford. Yeah.
Let's be honest about the UK. It's only London anyway.
It's only London. Yeah, it's only London. But yeah, it is.
Shout out to my friend Rich, who's I know probably going to watch this, and it's only London. Sorry.
I love London. And so it's 45 minutes north of London, maybe 50 minutes, and then even from the train station, it's just a quick, about a 1 mile walk into the town center there.
Okay, so you said you've been there 3 times. What?
Yeah.
You touched on it a little bit at the beginning. What made you to decide to go there? Was it for soccer, or something else, or needed to get away from the kids? What?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. So this year was my 3rd year going. The first year they were filming the What Bitcoin Did Live podcast, and as part of that weekend series of events, they were also doing tickets to the game. And I thought, as a big fan, been watching the team for over a year, it's an absolute no-brainer to get out there and support the club. And I was the only, I guess you can say, American or only idiot from across the pond that came over. And I expected more, to be honest. But I was the only one. Maybe Jeff Booth, who's probably the biggest party animal I've ever met, believe it or not. And it was a really good time. But yeah, to me, I didn't think twice about it. It was like, let's go. Get permission from the wife, and
So that was the first time.
The first time.
Now Peter started the cheat code, right? That's what he calls it.
The cheat code conference.
So that's an actual conference. How describe that briefly, and how was that?
Yeah, the cheat code. So this was the 2nd year. Last year was the 1st year. I decided to volunteer at the conference itself, and during that weekend of events, I met 6 other Bitcoiners from the Minneapolis area.
Okay.
who I had never met before.
Seriously?
And we met for the first time there. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. And like you run into folks like, Danny as an example, or other folks, in the Real Bedford community, and they'll say, oh, I met this other person from Minneapolis, or I met that person from Minneapolis. Do you know them? Like, what? Who?
Not to get sidetracked, but do you know Neil Ronenminer in our group? Anyways, he lives probably a mile or two from me, right? Mm-hmm. And I only see the guy when I'm at Bitcoin events elsewhere in the country.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm like, we could do this, just
hang out in the garage, smoke a cigar.
Yeah, we could do this, but we've got to go to Vegas, or we got to go to Texas.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny.
So you met 6 other people from Minnesota at Cheat Code.
At Cheat Code last year.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, 2024. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. So the conference itself was about 500 plus or minus some folks.
Oh, that's a good number.
Yeah, and it was right at their town center at the Corn Exchange. I got to volunteer there last year and this year. And to me, conference aside, like I just wanted to go there to give back to the community and participate in what Peter was doing. So it wasn't so much about, getting signal from the conference, but rather doing whatever I can to be everywhere and be nowhere at the same time to make sure it runs smoothly. The benefits behind not only the conference, like you have the 1 day, all day long conference. The following day, you have the Real Bedford men's game, and then you have the Real Bedford women's game on the Sunday.
Okay.
So those are. I'd say that's where I really come out alive. So, UK soccer fans, I don't know, or maybe just Bedfordians. Is that word? Yeah, okay. Bedford fans.
There you go.
Aren't that lively? But let's just say, I did my best to bring out the crowd. So the first year, our colleague here from Minnesota dragged him along to the conference, the Cheat Code, and we decided the day before the game. I had my Real Bedford flag that I brought along, and we went to Poundland. Yes, Poundland, which is the quote unquote dollar store.
Okay.
And we got whatever we can. Yeah, we got whatever we can find. We scrounged up some stuff to create a flagpole, and duct taped this thing together as a tie. And I'm thinking it only has to last 90 minutes. Like that's how long a game is, right? And so we brought it there and just waving the flag, and before you know it. We're shooting commercials and advertisements for the likes of Gemini and other groups. And if you look closely enough, you can see the duct tape if you zoom in on those photos. But yeah, you'll find us on the Real Bedford page.
That's the perfect way to do everything: duct tape and baling wire.
That's the only way.
What else do you need?
Yeah, this year, walking by the crowd and just. The day before the conference, I was asking, hey, did you bring the flag? Did you bring the flag? It's like, no, it's like the one time only. But the morning of, everyone really wanted the flag. And so I didn't bring my own, but there was one flag left in the clubhouse. And we were able to scrounge up some poles. And this time it looked a lot cleaner. And I left it intact for them so they can use it. But, what's really cool is like you get to know some of the players. You get to meet their family members, meet their kids, meet their spouses or their parents even. And so we're on a first name basis for some of us.
Talking about the players, so at that level, what is it like the guy that was good in high school, maybe played college? What level are these players at? Because they're not full-time, athletes. I mean, They have a job as an electrician or plumber.
Correct.
Whatever.
Yeah. They practice twice a week and play a game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of level,
do they get paid?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do get paid. The first year, we're talking guys like myself. Yeah, level 10 going out there and just kicking the ball around. More than kicking the ball around, but kicking the ball around. But as they started bringing in players from levels above come play down, it was way more tactical. And so it was more strategic. They controlled the ball a lot better, and these guys are pretty decent. So I would say, U.S. equivalent, maybe really good high school players, now I would say more collegiate level,
Okay.
and arguably getting into that semi-pro type level.
So, yeah, at the semi-pro level, they're at level 7 now, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So these guys are still part-time athletes.
They are.
They're working real jobs. And
Yeah.
So are the salaries public like they are?
They're not.
They're not.
No. Yeah. I have no idea how much you're getting paid.
Okay. So we
per
don't know
game.
if it's $100 a game or if it's 1,000. Okay.
Pounds. 100 pounds.
Well, they should be getting paid in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, they should be getting paid in Bitcoin.
How many sats per game do they make? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. You can purchase beers and food in Bitcoin, and you can go on the website and pay for merch in Bitcoin, or even in person pay for Bitcoin. So the club itself runs in the Bitcoin treasury, if you will. However, the players, they can get paid in whatever they choose, and both the male and the female players are getting paid.
Well, yeah, that's good to know too. So it's more than just a branding, like, how I feel about some of these treasury companies. Like, we like Bitcoin, buy our stock, but not to get sidetracked on that. So what has been the most rewarding about, starting a group and being the guy that has to do everything,
Yeah, maybe I'm still trying to find it, but we've had some really
you get
good.
to come on podcasts.
Yeah, there you go. We've had some really good memories. I think community-wise, just seeing different people that come along, and again, it's very family-oriented. So don't be shy about bringing your baby or your 8-year-old along or so. But even when my daughter has gone and met up with other kids her age, they go off in the corner and they're messing around, doing whatever, and talking about Bitcoin, which is pretty cool. So you gotta start early. You gotta normalize it. But honestly, I go back to the signal again. Even those who we fully haven't converted over to Bitcoin, just the amount of sheer detail you can get into, whether it's about troubleshooting or upgrading or creating a lightning node of some sort, learning about mining, learning just maybe taking care of some of the maybe the nuances of Bitcoin you were maybe embarrassed to ask in a more public setting, and you can, okay, that's how that works. All right, got it. I understand now. And sharing some of the latest books as well.
Shout out to the book club.
Book club,
right?
BBQ.
Which reminds me, at the end, we have to talk about today's sponsor. Actually, I'll just pitch today's sponsor right now.
Yeah.
tcbitcoin.com.
There it is.
There it is. That's a big get, and we're proud to have them on board.
Yeah. I love it because even whether it's Eventbrite or the Orange Pill app, like it says events coming near you, and I wonder who's setting all that up.
Well, the funny thing is like there's no one, like in my experience from trying to help promote these things, right? There's no one, you just put it on Meetup and then you'll get everybody. There's no one. You get, maybe if you put it on Meetup for one, you'll get one person from there, one person from Orange Pill, one person from Eventbrite. Yeah. We had a guy you were at the last book club.
Yeah.
Found it from Nostr.
Right.
Yeah.
And I saw it on Nostr. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm like, well, somebody is looking at Nostr.
Yeah, I get people. Yeah, I saw it on Twitter, saw it on Nostr, and or I saw it on the website.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did you even, like, are you in the Telegram? I'm like, no, I don't have Telegram. So Telegram is what we use as a community here to mostly communicate. And you think everyone is on it. No, you still find the random, which is pretty cool.
I did get my mom on Telegram just for my convenience. Yeah. And I'm like, well, if you want to talk to me, I'll check your Telegram.
Yeah. Even Real Bedford has a Telegram group chat, but they recently migrated to WhatsApp. So there's a pretty big local community on WhatsApp. Yeah. So there's a lot of like local folks who are chatting back and forth, even setting up card pools to the game. So you get more of like the actual community of Bedford going to games on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I WhatsApp is so popular, like in
globally,
other countries. Yeah,
I think it might be the most popular messaging app.
I think it might. Yeah, because like I know when I go to El Salvador, like I have to get WhatsApp to be able to call people or message them because they're like, what's Telegram, or
soon it'll be BitChat.
BitChat. Have you played with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's cool, but
we could probably do it now because it's Bluetooth, right?
Yeah. But that I mean, that's the cool thing about it, and the limitation, not to get too off track. But you have to be in proximity. That
you do.
It's the blessing and the curse, So
it is. That's how it starts.
We were playing with BitChat at BitDevs, and it's cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool. Yeah. So back to Bedford, though, looking ahead for your meetup, and maybe as superfan #1 worldwide, right? I think that's your new title, right?
I think that's what Peter said.
Yeah.
5 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, well, stay to the end, because I'm going to tell everybody what to do if you ever cross paths with Peter or Danny. So, but looking ahead, where do you see your meetup going, and where, 5 years from now, where do you think Bedford's going to be? So
yeah, that's a great question. So meetup locally. Here's what I would love to do. Okay, it's challenging enough to get people to the game. So Ladanya, we coincidentally, a lot of the meetups that we have coincide with the Everton meetups. So they're opening their doors not only to our group, but also Everton. So you're going to find some level of business there, right? They have a bartender they have to hire to run it. And so if Everton was not there and it was just us, which happens early on in the season especially, we want to get enough people to make it worth it, right? They have to employ someone, pay them an hourly wage in order to then support the amount of business that we're providing them. So I want to be able to get a consistent, get over that 20 threshold. 20 has been our if you include the kids, it's been like the max we've ever had at a meetup. But if we can get a constant 20 all the time, then that's a no-brainer for the likes of Ladanya to open up their door if it was just us, right? So
sure.
Yeah, and then if we can continue growing, or at least fairly stable at that stage, then I think we have a solid base there. I mean, they have this flag hanging, or the scarf hanging with the other scarves, Minnesota scarves, up on their ledge, and there's even a Real Bedford sticker on their Square terminal, so you can at least see it and subtly.
I wonder if they'll turn the Square payments on.
Yeah, I'm egging Sergio. He's believe me, when it's ready to go, it'll be ready to go. And I wonder if that'll attract some individuals, or even education-wise, for all the new people in Minneapolis who don't really know much about Real Bedford, or think it's corny, or think we're just a bunch of goodies.
It would be cool if the other group, what do you call them, Everton?
Everton, yeah.
If they're like, well, look they're paying with Bitcoin right on the regular thing that we pay on with our stupid credit cards.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I just have to pay. So I see us staying at Ladanya. Absolutely love the place. They are plenty of room to house our group. And then Real Bedford themselves, 5 years out. I mean, idealistically 5 promotions, but.
So can they only go up one level a year?
One level a year, yeah.
Okay.
One level a year.
You can't skip.
Exponentially harder every year. I see them up a couple levels. I mean, it is tough, and it's a lot of money that has to be spent, and that's why they're using their Bitcoin to grow over that 5-year period. And hopefully, I mean, there are infrastructure requirements, there are pitch requirements, there's regulations around every single level that have to be upgraded. But 5 years out, I expect a full-on stadium, 2,000 people, or maybe up to 15,000 people to be fully built out. And I believe that'll be in and around the time Universal Studios will be opening up in Bedford, which would be possibly drawing even a bigger crowd to those games.
So Universal, sidetrack again. Yeah. Universal Studios open, and this is the first time I've heard this.
First theme park in Europe, and it's going to happen in Bedford of all places.
No kidding.
Yeah. Wow. Just in the south part of town there, maybe just 3 minutes from Peter's place.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, who knew?
Yeah, who knew? Exactly. Yeah. The question is where to find a stadium, where to find the ground for a stadium. That's going to be
So as far as the team, though, you think it's not realistic to assume that just because they're throwing money at it, and it's not. Is it realistic to assume or want them to go level every year? Will when you get to 5, do you maybe get stuck there for a couple of years, or what's your prediction? 5 years from now, 2030.
Yeah.
What level is Bedford?
Nothing stops his train championship level 2.
Level 2. All right.
But yeah, I mean, they become full-time players in and around, a lot of them at level 5. So a couple years out, I mean, these are professional players. This is what they do. This is their job.
So that becomes a true minor, the true minor league.
Minor league system. Yeah, that's your single A, if you will.
So and apologize. I'm sure everyone's probably rolling their eyes listening to this, right? But my ignorance on this, can mid-season, let's say, I don't know, Bobby Jones is just a phenom for Bedford. Can another team call him up, or do they have to trade, or how does that work? Because like the only thing I can compare it to is minor league baseball.
Yeah.
And so it can, the Yankees will, make the phone call and they'll say, we want him to come up from the farm club. How does that work that way with the soccer in England?
Yeah. So there's one men's club. I don't know how much of a system they have yet underneath them. They do have a little league baseball analogy there. Shout out to Little League World Series. But yeah, they are building out a farm system. No,
I meant bigger teams. Can they
other
take
teams.
talent off Bedford?
Oh yeah, they can. Yeah, anyone can. So Real Bedford have taken talent from competitors, as well as again brought people from higher leagues up, like down. A lot of times that happens during the off season, but even during the season, you'll see, especially about 2 months into the season, you'll see some new players come in, depending on how the team is doing. But yeah, it's very common to see what's called loans. You can loan a player out for some period of time on whatever contract that you set.
Oh, wow.
And you see that a lot in the Premier League. And
really?
Leagues, yeah. So players on loan.
I don't know if I've got the bandwidth to understand the anchorage in. I won't even say the word. Okay, so if people have soccer questions, or when I do, I know who to talk to. Yeah. At least I got that going for me. Let me see. So if somebody wants to come to one of these meetups, what is the easiest way for them to find it, stay in touch, and figure out where to go, the who, what, when, where, why?
Yeah, tcbitcoin.com. That's it. That's where you'll find all the events across the community, but that's where you'll see all of ours posted. You'll also find it on the likes of Nostr, Twitter, Telegram, and then TC Bitcoin.
So what is the Twitter handle for?
Twitter handle, Real Bedford MSP. You'll find us there. I believe there's an underscore, maybe. I should probably look that up. But yeah, Real Bedford MSP, Minneapolis, St. Paul. You'll find us on X. And then I'm not going to tell you the NPub, but
we'll put that in the description.
Put it in the show notes. Put the show notes below.
You don't have the shorter the email address. I forget what they call it for Nostr. Yeah, never mind.
It's under my name, so it's just Edgar. Look at Edgar. But yeah, you'll find the events there. And so most of our meetups happen at 9 in the morning in local time, and then when we do have the time change, I think there's a bit of a gap when we do the fallback, and then spring forward daylight savings times. So there's about a 3-week period. I think it's in the spring where the games are then at 10 a.m. local time.
Much better. Yeah. Much easier for my schedule.
But 9 a.m. is not bad. 9 a.m. is not. I mean, I've been lucky enough to live, just shy of 20 minutes away from the venue. But I know some people travel a little bit longer.
See, that's what people don't get, though, is if you organize a meetup, you get to pick where it's at. Yeah. And then you can make it convenient for you.
Exactly.
And then, everybody has to come to you. That's the reason to start a meetup, right?
But it is close to downtown, or, it's in Minneapolis. And so, if you're gonna pick a venue, that's probably about as central as it can get. And, I encourage people to come out. There's a lot of signal that happens, and half the time we're maybe not even watching the game, but sorry, but it's true.
Well,
but there've been some exciting games. I'll tell you that. There's been some really fun ones.
I'm guilty. I'm not what you call a sports ball fan. I used to be crazy when I was in college, and I was on 5 fantasy football teams, and as I've gotten older,
American football. Football.
Do they have fantasy soccer?
There are. Yeah, there are. They're fantasy. And there's betting platforms as well.
Even for this level?
I've seen it. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Well, God, they bet on everything in England, though.
They can. I don't know if you can access from the U.S. I'll have to dig into that a bit more. But there have been some exciting games. So again, like I said, the UK, I don't know what it is about the fans, but they're a little bit more proper. And in the U.S., we're a little bit crazy, flag wave and make some noise. And so whenever there is a goal scored, we tend to make noise there at Ladanya and show Everton what's up.
Right on.
We can get pretty rowdy.
Right on. So now, as we're wrapping up here, I need to tell people that if you ever cross paths with Peter McCormick or Danny Knowles, right?
Yeah.
You have to just do one thing, and you just walk straight up to them and say, "I know Edgar," and they love it.
Edgar.
This is Peter McCormick. I've crossed paths. I mean, I don't know the guy. I've crossed paths with him probably 5 times in the last couple of years. And I do that, and he'll always look at me with no idea who I am, right? And then he goes, "I love Edgar.
I freaking love that guy.
I freaking love that guy." Yeah, it's
They've been really good. I honestly, it's Emma who runs the show. Most people don't know that for Real Bedford. Sorry, and the show, not what Bitcoin did, but she's the CEO of the club.
That's his sister.
No.
Maybe that's the one I meant. Sorry.
So there's Emma who runs the club, and then in terms of co-owners, right now you have the Winklevoss twins and Peter, with the financiers of the club.
Those are good parties to have.
And then you have some paid employees, but a lot of volunteers as well. And so I think that makes it really special. But from a club perspective, Emma is the one behind the scenes that he doesn't speak very often, but I'll tell you, she's a force to be reckoned with. And then her son, Seb, runs all the social media. So he does a lot of that artwork, the imaging, the YouTube videos, the advertisements, keeps everything up on Twitter. Whenever there's an away match, you can just hit refresh a million times and see what's happening on their live feed. So that's pretty cool.
So do a lot of the other clubs don't do feeds, or do some of them?
Some of them. Yeah, even yesterday's match. So today is August 17th, so August 16th. Believe it or not.
You're not supposed to tell people because this won't be coming out for a few weeks.
Oh, sorry.
No, just kidding.
Real Bedford lost the first match of 2025.
Oh, no.
The first match all calendar year on a late goal. But that was an audio stream from the home side, which, Real Bedford was playing a away match that game. But yeah, that was, on occasion you find some teams who have those live, grassroots live feeds.
More random questions about UK soccer.
Yeah.
At what level do they stop being able to do their own streams? Because the Vikings couldn't do their own stream because they're part of the NFL. At what level do they have TV rights and things like that?
Well, it happens now. So
even at level 7?
Yeah. So
okay.
There's a restricted time period where you're not able to stream games locally. If you have a VPN, you can listen to it. So I've been on their field on a VPN watching or listening to the live stream while watching the game live, and small delay, just like in baseball too. But yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. Well, what else do we want to tell the people about the meetup?
Show up to the meetups. I get it. Look, I've got a family. Obviously, I know where my priorities are, and we have a lot of events happening across Minneapolis. There's the book club. There's the BitDevs. We have our standard meetups, and there's quite a few other side chains, we like to call it. But if you haven't been to a Real Bedford meetup yet, go to it. And
So
get a sense of
for,
what
for
it's
the
like.
people not interested in sports ball,
Yeah.
there's plenty of Bitcoin talk.
it's all Bitcoin talk.
But for the sports ball people, there's plenty of soccer talk as well. So
There is, yeah. And like I mentioned before, there are fans of soccer who appreciate the grassroots effort and are there to drink beer at 9 a.m. and don't care too much about Bitcoin, and that's fine. And then there's the crew that don't care about soccer but love Bitcoin and are there to chat it up. And so if you haven't been to it, sorry, like what else are you doing at 9 o'clock in the morning, man?
Just gonna say the same thing. It's the easiest one to sneak out and be like, "Hey, wifey, I'm just gonna run out for an hour or two." And then,
9 to 11, and then LaDanya typically has her kitchen open up around 11:30 or noon, and
we got to work on them just to have steak and eggs at 9.
Well, we can. So if we have a large enough crowd, he will bring in the staff to help support it. So, and I think that's the challenge, right? It's like the chicken and the egg. And so if we can show the love that they've been showing us, then they'll show it right back. And again, they've been great. But yeah, if you haven't been to a game, please do go to a game or a meetup and support the local group. 9 a.m. Saturday mornings, tcbitcoin.com.
Awesome. So I made Brandon do this at the end of the last one. Look at the camera and do an ad for TC Bitcoin.
An ad for TC?
An ad. This whole thing was a ruse to get you to do an ad for our sponsor, TC Bitcoin.
tcbitcoin.com. If you haven't been, go.
Thanks, Edgar.
Yeah, you got it, man.
That was fun.